Miss Sherman, the thought of leaving my obituary to chance is completely unreasonable to me.
Well, I am the obituary writer, so when the time comes, I will be writing her obituary.
I want you to write it now. Here's the names of a few hundred people.
Well, I've got one word about the last word. Actually, two words. Shirley MacLaine. How great is it to see this 82-year-old iconic star who's pretty much done it all in life get a leading role again in a theatrical release film worthy of her talents. And that she has in the new movie, The Last Word, a comedy drama about a crotchety 81-year-old divorced woman. Harriet Lawler is the name of the character MacLaine plays to the hilt, but really underplays most of the time perfectly, so she never becomes a caricature. Who is not exactly the most popular person around. We see that in short order by the reactions of her gardener, her ex-husband, played by Philip Baker Hall, on down the line.
If I want your opinion, I will give it to you. That's what she told me. I was her gynecologist.
If there's just one thing you could say about her that's nice.
If she were dead, that would be nice. How's that?
Well, Harriet decides that before she checks out, she needs to have the proper obituary, and she wants, like everything else in her life, to have complete control over that obituary. So she goes to the local newspaper, a struggling entity like so many newspapers, the Bristol Gazette, and she talks to the editor there, played by Tom Everett Scott, telling him she wants their obituary writer to work with her in creating the perfect memorial remembrance for Harriet. He assigns Anne, who is played wonderfully by the always great Amanda Seyfried, who writes the obits, to take on this assignment.
These are obituaries from newspapers all over the country. I want you to read them and see what other obituary writers are doing.
Wow, I'm sorry you don't like what I wrote, but that was just me writing about your life.
But my life is not over yet.
So Anne sets out in some research on Harriet and discovers what we already know. She is not well liked. And how is she going to write a warm-hearted obit about this woman? Well, when she reports that back to Harriet, Harriet will not take no for an answer and does a little research of her own, figures out the 4 key things that every good, memorable obit should have, and sets out with Anne in tow to accomplish that at this point in her life. And so they have little adventures along the way, and they meet a beautiful, lively little girl played by a newcomer, Anne Jewel Lee. She joins them. This becomes the story of 3 generations, and particularly these 2 women who help each other along the way while knocking each other into some level of sense here.
Who are you?
I'm Harriet Lawler, formerly of Lawler Advertising. I am an older woman, as you might have gathered, but with age come certain attributes, and one of mine is I'm up very early every morning. I would gladly take over the drive time slot of Dawn Silver.
I'm Dawn.
No, you're out.
It's a strong woman's picture, certainly, in that regard, and it says a lot about life and how we want to be remembered, but more importantly, how well we live our lives. This movie is an absolute delight, I think, for older audiences now, looking for something that they can relate to and that they would like to see. But most of all, it belongs to one of the great stars of all time, Shirley MacLaine, and I'm so happy, again, to see her get this kind of full-blooded leading role. She really makes it tick. Maybe people will remember this when award season rolls around again. I know we're done with this one. I don't want to keep mentioning award-worthy performances this early in the year, but here's one for sure. And she shows you, this old pro, how it's done. For Shirley MacLaine fans, this movie is the absolute must. And the last word from me is go.